Hey, hey, hey. My name is Jorge Valle, and I'll be going over weeks 4 scenarios for CIT 326. You'll notice that I have over here, I have um, separate query windows open. That's just my preference. I like to switch in between them for each scenario when I talk. It's organized and it saves time, and so if you like doing something like that, you can. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, scenario number one, due to the previous IT guy being the jack of all trades and for bowling too much, development was done in production. That's a huge no, like a huge no no for sure. Doing development production is very, very disruptive to the end users, whoever are your customers, right? Your clientele, if they're using your site, and can cause vital functions to stop working while you're developing. The best thing to do for development is to do it in a testing environment where we can afford to make mistakes without actually impacting the customer. So, to begin here, what we need to do is we're going to find out the last time the databases were backed up. This is what I have here. I'm going to go ahead and run it. I'm going to hit F5. Now, because I've already finished uh, the all of the scenarios, you'll see that I have more, but at first it was just these three. And I decided just to focus on a couple of, or a few of the column names, the name of the backup set, who performed the backup, date and time that the database was originally created, when the backup began, when it finished, how big is the backup in bytes, and the server running. So I was the one who did it, if you see it right here. So, okay, we have some information, right? What we need to do now with that is now create backups for everything else. So let's move on. And scenario number two, we have to make new backups for all of our databases, like I said. So this is important in the case we need to refresh a database, restore a database due to an accidental delete of data. It happens, and so the list goes on. Here are the ones we are to run the backups for. I have the bowling league, entertainment agency, recipes example. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this window down here. You can see it. If you hit Control R, it'll get rid of it. Recipes, sales order, school. So you'll notice that once I run this again to see if those were created, those commands, whoops, you'll see that I have the entertainment agency example logged 3 times. That's because I copied it from the script that comes after you select what to create or who to back up. And for some reason, the name was still the same. I believe I should have changed it, but that's probably why. So all I did was change it here. The log is still there. We still need logs. I don't feel good deleting logs just yet, so that's fine. We were still able to restore the backup and get rid of these ones, so no problem with that. And so again, run this same query that you did on the first scenario, and you'll see that the databases were done. Okay, so that is basically it. Let's go to the next one. Okay, for scenario number 3, in here we had to use a backup basically. So we're gonna use the bowling database example to create basically restore a backup, right? Named bowling test. So if you look at here, you'll be able to see that we're restoring the database according to that backup that we did for bowling and things like that. We determined the file path and what we're gonna name it. And so we created all of that. So it was good. Now, when I did that, I did notice that my bowling database was the one that I had right here on the left side was stuck in the restore state. So what I had to do is you got to restore the logs. You got to specify where those logs are. It's usually in your Microsoft SQL, the file path. You just find it, put it in there, run it, and it's back to normal. So it's all good. The next part, though, I did have to restore one to the cloud, meaning that I had to connect according to my classes SSH, make a connection there, and be able to restore mine. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that here on the left side. I should be able to see mine. Yep, it's right here, Ovi underscore bowling underscore development, meaning you can use this as a development environment and you do testing, you can do new stuff, send data. whatever it is without affecting it. So here's basically the command that you would just use. Usually something like that. So that's how you restore it to the cloud. Now, for scenario number 4, it's a little bit complicated. It got a little bit complicated for me, I do have to say. As you can see, I ran into a lot of errors, like I have here. And it's kind of small. If I can make this bigger, nope. But yeah, I ran into a lot of errors just because, hey, I had to learn how to do some stuff. So let's go ahead and just get started. See what we had going on here. So the reason why I had a lot of issues is because I have in the past I used SQL before. I had 2 servers running. With that, I had to specify what server I needed to connect on when I used the SQL command. As you can see right over here, as soon as I specified which server, it was fine. I want to give a huge shout out to Google and Stack Overflow for really helping me out and get some answers. I totally recommend. So what we need to do is we need to put the info of the member.bowler scores into a txt file, and same with bowlers. Then we are to go to SQL, delete it, and then restore it. Basically, restoring tables is a lot better than restoring a whole database. We're not affecting all of the tables. All we need, or sorry, all of the, all of the tables. We're just focusing on a specific schema and a specific table. So it's huge. If you want to extract the data and put it in a txt file, then this is a command that you would run right here. Sorry if it's kind of small. And if you want to put it in, then you go ahead and use this command. Same with the bowlers. The bowlers did give me a little bit of a warning. It didn't actually give me an error. It's just a warning that's saying the string data write truncation. Not really sure what it is, but hey, it still worked, as you can see. And that we have right here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I got my SQL already going up over here, so we're gonna delete. Actually, I already ran this before. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete not the bowlers one because it has a foreign key to the scores. Or sorry, the scores have a foreign key to the bowlers, so we can't delete that because again, this table bowler scores is dependent of bowlers. So we have to delete this one first. And after we delete it, then we can delete bowlers. So we'll go ahead and delete this one. Type go. You'll see that all of these rows are affected. So if I do select star, from members, bowler scores, and then go, you'll see that I don't have anything. So that was one of the things. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same for the bowlers. We're gonna get rid of those guys as well. So here's the command. Totally do not recommend doing, deleting a whole table. It's not good and could get you fired. Good thing that we're database administrators and we can grant or deny permissions like deleting. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. Hit go. There are 2 rows affected. Again, all I have to do, since I've already run this before, is select star count from the bowlers, and you'll see that I have nothing. Okay, let's go ahead and restore them. And to do that, let's do bowlers first. The command changes, instead of out, we're gonna do in. We're saying, hey, let's grab it and let's put it back in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Again, I had to specify my server, which server I'm connected to. So do that. That's what it did. And while we're here, let's also do the bowler scores. Might as well. Okay. So in this other side, we should be able to see the bowlers come back up. Yep, 32 instead of 0. And then we do the same for when we're selecting star from the bowler scores. So we should see upwards over 1,000. There you go, 1,344. So there you have it. It's good to be able to have these things, definitely, because one day you will be asked as an admin to restore databases and to restore tables, and so that it's for development or for a mistake. So here we have the data is back, so that's a great thing, and that is basically it for week 4.